everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Dr. Ina. If you're new to this channel, this is Universal. I'm just going to be telling you how you can transit into tech role, and one easy way to do it is to become a data analyst. Okay, so I know some people might be thinking, how can I become a data analyst? I do not have a background or a degree in computer science or mathematics or statistics or whatever. Don't worry. For as long as you are willing to learn, you can transit easily, and I mean quickly as well, into data analyst roles. Okay, and why is this even something that you should look into? We live in a world of data. Yeah, so every single company would need a data analyst, because whether they collect data of their customer base or how their customers behave or even their financial output or whatever, they have data one way or the other, and they need to be able to do something or tell a story or analyze this data. And that's why they need the data analyst. And that is why, if you're thinking of a role that you can transit into quickly, easily, data analysis is one of them. Okay, so how can you do this? I studied microbiology. For my master's, I studied environmental management. And you would be wondering, how did I get in my first data analyst role? The way I did it was I looked into the courses that I did. I did information technology, and I also did R. So I intentionally, like I've said in my previous video, that I did R because I'm always willing to learn new things, more especially it seems like there is a vibe in a direction. I look into it and I try to learn what's going on there. Anyway, so I learned R and I put this on my CV. I packaged my CV as usual. I got called for a contract job initially from a bank. They needed a data analyst, and they saw that I've got Excel, I've got R. Those were the basic things that I really had, that I leveraged on for that role. And, I got called, I got to do a test just to show your basic Excel skills, nothing out of the ordinary. They want to see your attention to details. They want to see how you can manipulate data, how you can analyze, what you can do with data. They just want to explore to see if you really have the knowledge of Excel that you have put into your CV. Of course, I did interview, a competence-based interview afterwards. And that was how I got my first data analyst role. And the rest is history. So the second role that I got was as a statistician. And that's a branch of data analysis. That's the statistical part, which is the mathematical part of it. And again, what do they need for this one? Basic knowledge of statistics or basic knowledge of data analysis. Most times, for as long as you're showing that you are willing to learn, you would most likely get these roles. Anyway, quick ways that you can get into data analyst roles. So I'm just going to be telling you some competencies that they look out for. Data analysis, which is whether it is statistical or non-statistical, how you can aggregate data, describe your data. Maybe it is descriptive statistics or inferential statistics. It's not every company that needs this one. Okay, so it's not, don't worry if you do not have core knowledge of statistics, don't worry about it. And it is not every data analyst role that would require you to have the statistical knowledge. Okay, so what other things do they check for? They want to see your basic knowledge of data cleaning. Okay, so if you've got data, most times data would come sometimes in unstructured form, sometimes in structured form. They want to see how you would work with this data, what you would do with data, how you would clean it up, how you would wrangle it, manipulate it, sort, filter, aggregate it, so that it is then useful. Okay, another competence that they test is data query. So most of them would use data would come from a large database, and they would want you to be able to call particular data of interest out of a large database and then do whatever you want to do with it. And then another competence is data visualization. Most times they want you to display the data, tell a story with the data, use charts, use graphs, or even dashboard, just present the data somewhere. And so these are the competencies that you really need to get basic knowledge of before you can get a data analyst role. And don't worry, don't be scared. I'm sure you might be thinking, oh, this sounds complicated already. It is not. And I tell you, within 6 weeks, if you are serious, or let me not be too ambitious, let me say 3 months. Within 3 months, if you are serious and you are determined, you can get this knowledge that I have just mentioned within that time. And how can you get it? There are some free courses. You don't need to go back to the uni to study a master's in data analysis, for example. No. There are free courses out there that you can explore to get started with this. And so the first course that I would recommend, the first course is on EDX, Excel for Everyone. So there are like 3 series of Excel for Everyone. The core foundations, series, which is like the beginners one, the first one that would teach you basic things about formula, how to import things into Excel, what to do, how to sort, how to filter. And then there is the data management one, where you can work with multiple tables or worksheets and do some more advanced work. And then there is the data analysis fundamentals. Okay, so these 3 courses would help you, would give you all that you need to get your first data analyst role. Okay, why did I say Excel for Everyone? Most companies use Excel. Most times your colleague would come and give you some form of data in a spreadsheet and you need to do something with it. Almost every company uses Excel. So that is one core skill that you need to know, or one core tool that you need to know how to use. Then, if you want to really up your game and increase your chances of getting data analyst role, then you would need also to have some knowledge of SQL. Again, this is not compulsory. I personally did not know SQL before I got my first data analyst role. I know someone as well who knew nothing about SQL. All she knew was Excel like me and R like me, and she got a data analyst role. Okay, so again, this is not compulsory, but if you want to increase your chances, because a lot of companies use databases, they store their data, especially those that have large data sets, they store it in databases, and so you need some knowledge of SQL. So you can do an introduction to SQL course on EDX, and that would give you all the knowledge that you need to be able to get your first role as a data analyst. Okay, and I know some people will be thinking, oh, you've not mentioned coding. It's not compulsory. I tell you, some data analyst roles don't require coding. Yes, Python, R, like I mentioned earlier, they are really good for statistical analysis and some data analysis, but they are not compulsory. So it is not a must for you to have knowledge of this before you get your first data analyst role. However, you can get your role and you would learn it on the role and be using it. So don't get stuck on trying to learn R or Python before you get that job. No, for as long as you have your Excel knowledge, you have some knowledge of SQL, that's good for you to get your first role. Okay, now let's talk about, I know some people will say, oh, where have you thrown Power BI or Tableau? Okay, those are for data visualization. Yes, you don't, again, I didn't know all of those to get my first role, but if you have it, that's another advantage, because you would need to visualize your data somehow. So sometimes you might need to use to visualize your data on dashboards. They are easily learned, so you can even learn it on the job, and you can decide to learn it on EDX, visualization with Power BI, for example, or even on YouTube. You'll find loads of these courses. So just get yourself acquainted, determined to learn something new. Sit down, follow this series through. Usually those courses are available for between 4 to 6 weeks for you. Within 6 weeks, you finished one course of Excel or SQL or whatever, and then you put that on your CV. I tell you, that's you starting a new journey in an adventurous land of data analysis. Like, it is endless. The things that you can do and explore in tech is just endless. So please, why not determine today to learn something, or to start a new journey, or to start learning things that you can leverage on and explore and increase your chances of getting jobs. If you're even looking for a way to settle, increase your chances of getting professional jobs that would most likely sponsor you, so that you can get settled wherever you are. All right, so if you found this useful, I'm going to be dropping the links to all of this free training that I've mentioned in the description below. So if you find this really useful, why not like, and then you share as well with other people. Okay, don't be selfish with your information, just share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. And I'll be back again next time. Bye.